everybody, can you hear me? Hi, how are you? Long time no see. Long time no see on Luna channel. In order to start, I gotta say that I've been having tummy problems since yesterday. So I'm gonna be a little bit I don't know, quiet today because I cannot be that energetic anymore today. Not today because of the tummy problem. I took the medicine. I feel better now, but generally speaking, it's still a little bit uncomfortable. I mean, here's the thing. Kind of to warm up, I want to tell you the reason why I have this tummy problem. And this also relates to the problem. I think that is a very big problem to the education system of Vietnam. I had tummy problem when I was 14 actually, in the 9th grade in secondary school. And at that time, because I was chosen to be one of the best students in literature in secondary school in my year, it was like 10. I was actually the literature team is 10 and I was number 11, so I was like the almost failed. Alright, whatever. And I was pushed to study. I was pressured to study too much at that time. It is like the first experience of facing too much stress at the same time, you know. So I had to study a lot for, I don't know for how long, for nearly a year, 2 years, I gotta say 2 years, from 8th grade to 9th grade, to get ready for the provincial contest on literature. So thousands of best students in my province took the literature contest, you know, the kind of exam, something like that, and a test. And yes, I got the first prize. Nothing big, but that was the thing. I don't think that is worth it, because since then, I've been having tummy problem because I usually, it's too much stress. It was too much stress, so I couldn't eat well, and I stay up very late every day, and in the morning I went to school without having breakfast. Maybe that's why. So, yep, it's really bad, and it is like it becomes my lifelong problem until now that I have that. So, now the point is that don't force your kids to study too much. And I don't know how it's like that in the West, but it's like that in many Asian countries, such as in Vietnam, in China too, and also in South Korea too. That's what I know of. The stress for students to have a good grade and to take the high prize in contest and to pass the university exam is just so much. And I literally was forced to study too much. It caused me my lifelong like stress, and my tummy just like, I have to bear this problem until now. It sucks. The thing is, my tummy is so delicate that when I'm hungry for too long, it hurts. Or if I eat too spicy food, it hurts. I eat too sour food, it hurts. Or when I am stressed, in heavy pressure, is a normal life like this, it hurts. Hi, Comrade in the chat. So I'm talking about, you know, you force. This is a problem in my country, Vietnam, that the issue about forcing your kids to compete with each other to have a better, higher prizes and a better grade is harmful to your kids. I mean, it was okay before, because, you know, in the 90s and early 2000s, Vietnam just opened our country, or the sanction lifted. I mean, it was good for kids to, have a chance to go to schools, study more, get a higher education, and have them have a better career. I mean, it started as a good thing, absolutely. And I also want our kids to be well educated, in lots of kind of knowledge like that. But the thing is that it's becoming more toxic now, where kids not just have a fun time in schools and learning and studying and playing at the same time anymore. Lots of kids right now, especially kids that are a little bit talented, they forced, they gave up their childhood. Like, I barely had any time to really play, and I love drawing, I love anime, manga, but I could not do it. I could not draw because my mom and my dad just destroyed the design of me, and it was so sad that whenever I draw or read any manga, I had to hide it in the middle of the night in the dark room or something, or when my mom and my dad was not home or something. But that was why I had my fucking I have to wear my glasses, because I used to read my comic books in the middle of the night in a dark room because I didn't dare to turn on the light. So it's too much stressful to your kids, and it physically will hurt your kids. And that is what I've been wanting to tell a lot of Vietnamese parents. Just let your kids play, have a fun time, have a childhood, and do what they really want to do. Not just you can help them direct their directions, or inspire them, but do not force them to give up their childhood just so they can have a better grade in schools. I don't think that it's worth it. That I have 2 permanent problems: my tummy pain and my glasses. Thinking about taking, laser surgery next year. Thinking about that. Because my glasses are getting thicker and thicker. This one is really thick. So, in the US, we sometimes work our butts off to get into cheaper schools. In Vietnam, we also work our butt off to go to, we call it public school. Because public schools are the schools with, state-owned, and they have the best quality and they have the lowest fee. It was really, really cheap to go there, and I'm not really proud of it, but because I don't think that it's worth it. But then after I got the first prize in literature when I was 15 years old, I passed the exam to the gifted high school in my province, in the city, Thanh Hóa city, and I had to go. It was far compared to ours, because it was about 6 miles away from my home at that time, and I had to ride my bicycle 4 times a day, many times 6 times a day, to go and go back to school. So it was a lot of exercise for me at that time, and the house was so far. But I think that I realized that pretty well after 15 years, got to high school, and I got a tummy problem. I was so fed up with studying. I couldn't do this anymore. I just can't. So technically, there was also the same kind of system in high school, where the best students in a class, in a subject, will be chosen to join another provincial contest and also national contest. This time it's a national contest. And so we're supposed to be chosen, because I specialized in literature in that high school. So we're supposed to compete each other to be chosen to that national team to take the national contest, literature contest. And I was like, nah, no thanks. I didn't try my best at all. Seriously, I didn't tell that to my mom and my dad. I just acted like, Mom, Dad, I could not do it. I'm not good enough. And they just said, all right. But actually, I just didn't even try. I just like, all right, just finish this homework with the bare minimum effort and be done with it. So, yeah, so I was not chosen to that national team. Lucky me, because I don't want to go through that bullshit anymore. And I focus more on drawing, and I focus more on just, God damn it, just pass a university exam to go to university. I was so not care about that at that time. So here's true story. At that time, university. So in my time, after having the test in 6 subjects to pass the high school graduation test, 6 subjects. Right after that, I have to choose a university, a faculty of a university. Oh, I freeze again. So I had to choose a faculty of a university to pass the exam, to take the exam and pass the exam too. I was like, alright, just do this. So I just chose one faculty of one university, take the test one time and go back home. Now this is very rare to Vietnamese student in my time because usually students, they want to pass the exam no matter what. And they want to have as many options as possible. So usually, at least a student will choose 2 or 3 different faculties in different schools. So, from low to high, and they take different tests, something like that, and, different group of subjects. Okay? So they make sure that if they fail this school, they still pass a lower one or something like that. I was like, nah, I just take one chance. That's it. I just can't study anymore. And then I was mocked by my head teacher, actually. So every class there was a head teacher. She taught literature, of course, because my class is specialized in literature. And she just checked my literature. She saw the whole class list of their choices, students' choices. And me was like, only one choice. She was like, what? Luna, you chose this only one school? Like, yeah. Like, you sure you will pass this university? Yeah. He's like, you sure? And I was so frustrated. I was so mad that I even asked my best friend in high school at that time to like, okay, can you help me write a second choice? Just so she can shut the fuck up. And I never took that second test of the second choice. I say, fucking damn it, I'm done with it. So, after that, like, I just not care so much about the education system. And also, here's the thing that I tell myself that if I have kids, I would just, of course, I will try to tell them like, education is good and you need to educate yourself. Try the best you can, but also enjoy your life, have your childhood, play with your friends. If you want to draw. If you want to read manga, you want to read novels, just don't become like me when I was a kid. And I don't want to push my kids too hard to join the best schools whatsoever. Yeah, only got one shot. Exactly, I just got one shot and that's it. I was like, I'm going to pass this one. That's it. Just no. Just, Because at that time, you know what? I was so fed up with studying, and I just wanted to be done. I just wanted to be freaking done so I can get away with it. So in university too, it was also another thing when students fight for scholarship, you know. I didn't do it. It was like, I just don't want to, because in my class it was like 50 students in university specialize in business English, and only 3 to 5 best students this is the best performance, can have scholarship. It was like, so why do I have to care about that again? And actually the fee at that time was really cheap because I joined a national university, so it was actually very, very, very cheap. It was about less than $150 a month for me to pay for everything, and every semester I had to pay about $180 for the school fee. My family was extremely poor at that time, but thanks to that super cheap and affordable kind of fee, we could afford that. Totally afford that. So I was like, okay, I'm sorry, Mom, but can I just not fight for scholarship? So, I mean, this is the only time that I feel sorry, because I didn't try hard enough to really help my parents, because I was like, Mom, I just can't compete with 50 other students in my class to be chosen to have scholarship. Like, and it's just like, how much? $200 for a semester, like a little bit more higher than the actual school fees. Like, is it worth it? So I was like, sorry, Mom, I just can't. So I didn't fight for. So because it's 180 for a semester, it was in 2009, 2010. It was so affordable that after 4 years of studying, my total student loan was $700. $700. And it took me the whole 6 months in 2013 to pay it off. So, it's like that. So when I learned about the student debt in the US, blow my mind. I literally know people who are still paying their student debt, even though they took it 20 years ago. Hey, what? Excuse me? Really? What? What? 20 freaking years ago. It's so high that you can't pay it off. Okay, let's talk about the main topic today. Is Vietnam US allied? Now here's the thing. Why talk about this? This has been a kind of question that lots of people has been asking me for a very long time. And I have been answering this question for a long time, mostly to Twitter. And today I want to officially address that in one of my MOONCAST. And if if you hear anybody who still claim that Vietnam is the US ally, please do me a favor, just laugh your ass off in front of their face. They're so indoctrinated, they're so delusional. And I totally understand why there are still so many people like that, especially people from the United States of America, especially the right-wingers. And due to the indoctrination system, the propaganda they've been facing their whole life, they from deep inside their heart, they strongly believe that Vietnam is a U.S. ally, Vietnam is a U.S. allied, even though they just bomb us back to the Stone Age 50 years ago, and they still refuse to clean all the unexploded bombs and all the barrels of toxins unburied under our soil even to this day. And they use that as a bargain condition, as a condition to bargain with us right now. Literally, the USAID, the USAID, a state department run kind of organization, they literally use the argument like, okay, if you allow the U.S. to do this, like be friend with the U.S., we can send some money and help you clean the unexploded bombs that the USA literally dropped on our country 50 years ago. They use that as a bargain. Okay, so okay, now I will show you the actual argument to show you like why are still people like that. Give me a second. Let's go share this one. Share screen. Here. This is an article from New York Times. Okay. Let's just look at this title. Just read this title. Of course, they're like from 2016, but again, it still says a lot about why this narrative is still very common over there in the West, in the U.S. side. Alright, why might Vietnam let the U.S. military return China? New York Times. Okay, 2016. Cam Ranh Bay, the ghost of the Vietnam War. So I mean, they just stated that at that time the U.S. wanted to lease the Cam Ranh Bay in the south of Vietnam. It was a big bay, beautiful bay, and like the U.S. offered to have a military base in Vietnam, so the U.S. can help Vietnam with the South China Sea dispute. So this is the New York Times. They just state the question, like with this kind of title, takes the question like, why might Vietnam let U.S. military return China? And then this is check this out. TheHill.com, another headline. America's presence in Cam Ranh Bay should be more than occasional. Okay, in a picture of this U.S. flag ship in the Bay of Vietnam. Okay, and they talk about the Vietnam War, and yeah, look at this headline: America's presence in Cam Ranh Bay should be more than occasional. It's like something like, they start some kind of narrative in the reader's head already. So next one. The Diplomat. Will Vietnam lease Cam Ranh Bay to the United States? Is there any meat to the rumors that Vietnam would lease Cam Ranh Bay to the United States? 2020? Still the same fucking argument from 2016 to 2020? Like rumors. Who gave it this rumors? It's the US of the fucking A. So look at this. Literally 3 different big newspapers literally had from 2016 to 2020. They constantly push this narrative, and they act like it's like a done deal and Vietnam already agree on. It's very likely, very highly likely for Vietnam to lease Cam Ranh to the US because we need them so much in the South China Sea dispute. And you know what? They just talk about these they just talk about this question and these rumors without stating the official answer of Vietnam. The answer that we have been telling the whole freaking world for so many years from the start, like no foreign military base allowed in Vietnam. Spokesperson. This is literally our official statement for years. But none of those big, propaganda outlets of the mainstream media ever report about our official statement. We've been saying this for so long time. Like, seriously, here's the thing. Literally the spokesperson of Vietnam, he reiterated that Vietnam pursue a consistent policy of not joining any military alliance nor allying with any country to act against a third country, making it clear that all statements by the ministry on the issue remain unchanged. Vietnam upholds external policy of independence, self-reliance, cooperation and development, diversification and multilateralization of international relations, and extensive global integration, as well as developing cooperation with all partners on the basis of mutual benefit for peace, stability, cooperation, and prosperity in the Asia-Pacific region and the world. So this is also this has been our official answer for so many long time. So even a few years ago when there was a rumor that Russia wanted to have a Russian military base in Vietnam, we also said no. The same time that the USA asked to put military base in Vietnam, we also said no. But none of those New York Times or Diplomat or The Hill or anything, or CNN or anything, it's just so ridiculous. And also I'll show you another official answer of Vietnam. This is just last year too. So ridiculous. Like, we've been saying this over and over and over again, that Vietnam would not join forces with one country in opposition of another. Foreign spokesperson literally said this just last year, 2021, but nobody cares. None. Suggests Vietnam's stance of independence and reliance in response to questions from media during Thursday's press briefing about the frequent visits from high-ranking U.S. officials to the country, suggesting a gathering of forces against China amid U.S.-China escalating strategic competition. Literally, this is literally our official answer, even though there was so many U.S. officials, high-ranking, went to Vietnam. So, but what do they mean by no, right? Right? How straight we could be. How more straight we could be. Like, so they can just stop that dream, Jesus. So, you understand why that narrative is still so strong out there? And why nobody even know that Vietnam has said so many times, and we just keep saying no and no and no, years after years after years. And again, now you see the indoctrination system over there in the West. You see it? It just straight into your face like that. They just it just only report half truths. Like, yes, the U.S. did ask Vietnam to lease our bay, one of our big international bay to the U.S. And the U.S. did ask Vietnam to be U.S. ally. Also, the U.S. also did ask Vietnam to raise the level of the partnership because here's another thing too. This is very interesting. Talking about the indoctrination system. So this is like a half official, not official, but it's kind of unwritten kind of law rule that there are 4 main levels of relationship of countries with other countries. We are based on, our history of relationship, based on the actual, the political system, and our trading, our economy, something like that. We categorize our relationship with other countries into 4 levels. The lowest level is strategic partnership. Yes. And the highest level is special, the great relationship. The lowest is strategic and the highest is great relationship. The highest relationship that we have right now is Laos. Vietnam and Laos have the highest relationship with each other, highest level. It means the great friendship. It means that we align with each other in every single thing and we will help each other no matter what. It's just like the best friend forever. And the one that next to, very close to that highest relationship is Vietnam with Cuba. I know exactly how we call it, but like a comprehensive, what did you call it? Comprehensive, something like great relationship or something like that. Yeah, but like Cuba, number 1 is Laos and number 2 is Cuba. Okay. The relationship between Vietnam and the USA is the lowest. The strategic partnership. It just means that just do business and that's it. Literally, the relationship between Vietnam and the USA is ranked as the lowest relationship with between the two countries. We just consider them our strategic partnership. Means that, okay, that's important export things to the other country. This is it, okay? So, I mean, it's just a name, yes, but based on that name, we can tell that, like, to what kind of extent we will cooperate with each other. So, because we've been having that for, I don't know, for how long, for so long. And in the last few years, the U.S. been asking Vietnam to reconsider the partnership between the two countries. So they want to change our partnership from just strategic partnership into comprehensive strategic partnership, means that like raise it into one higher level. And Vietnam is like, we consider that. So, I mean, because especially during the pandemic like this, our economy is very stable compared to the economy in the USA, and absolutely we are one of the very strong nation in food security. Our food security is very stable and strong, and we definitely can feed our own citizens and also export lots of food to other countries. And the USA right now is facing food insecurity. It is a severe problem right now. You might not have heard about it on the news yet because of propaganda, indoctrination. They still want you to believe that things still fine over there, but just go to your grocery stores and see, and go to the restaurants and see how many foods now out of the menus because they don't have enough ingredients to cook those food anymore, and how the amount of food that you buy are less and less and smaller and smaller. So food insecurity is becoming a big problem in the US right the fuck now. That is why especially the last year, the US has been wanting Vietnam to higher the relationship, so it means that we can sell more products, agricultural products to the USA to deal with the food security, about the baby formula thing too. At the same time, you know what? The USA just lower a bunch of taxes on special taxes on our agricultural products. Why? Because food insecurity. But Vietnam's like, we consider that. Until now, the partnership between the two countries is the strategic partnership. Now, here's the thing. Vietnam, of course, we want to keep friendship with the USA because in the end of the day, the USA is still a superpower in the world. They have at least 5,800 nuclear warheads. Alright? And a bunch of drone strikes and bombs. Alright? So of course we don't want to piss them off. But we also have our own rules that we will not allow them to put military base in our sea. We won't ally with the US. And also we still consider it, but we still kind of not wanting to deepen the relationship with the two countries, just do business action. So, dude, it's kind of very annoying because you really do not know much about what the US interests in Vietnam because yes, food is not the only interest of the US in Vietnam. Absolutely. Nobody says that. But it is also a thing in Vietnam. That's just not like... Of course, the location of Vietnam is very important. We're located right next to China. Geopolitics 101, of course, right? And also the system of Vietnam. You know, the regime that we're having in Vietnam is opposite the regime in the US, of course. So they want to stop all the communists, but the food is fucking important too. Vietnam is, for many years, the second exporter of rice in the whole freaking world. And we are exporting more and more and more agricultural products to the USA. Just go check some economic news out there. Try to read behind the lines of how Vietnam has been exporting more and more agricultural products to the USA. And they are lowering more and more taxes from Vietnam to the USA. There must be a reason for them to do that. Because the location of Vietnam never changed. We're always here. Okay? Okay, so the US has been always wanting Vietnam to ally with them because of our location. But suddenly, lately, during the pandemic, during the economic recession, depression, suddenly now you say low bunch of taxes on Vietnam agricultural products. Why? Of course, because they want us to export more food to the country. Because our food is high quality and low price. And this simple as that. Literally, like, you're very naive in a sense that you just think that like the relationship between Vietnam and the USA is just simple as geopolitics. But it also relates a lot to food security too. And the USA now is on the verge of severe food insecurity. And like, if they do not care about, you know, their food security like that, so why suddenly they encourage Vietnam to export so many food into the country? The US is the largest agricultural producer. Says you know nothing about agriculture without telling me you know nothing about agriculture. Yes, the US has one of the biggest farming corporation in the world. But what do they grow? They grow corn, so they can make corn syrup. They grow potatoes. They can make pasta and noodles. Okay, and that's it. Their agriculture is huge, and they make a lot of milk too. But here's the thing. They do not have any diversity of food. And also they are heavily controlled by big corporations. That is why so many times the corporations destroying their own food when they cannot sell them with the high price that they want. Alright, so the big doesn't mean that they can feed their own country because they just grow the kind of products that are profitable to those corporations. They do not give a shit about food security of their own people. It is corn though, so exactly. You grow corn so you can have corn syrup for Coca-Cola and Pepsi and a bunch of other soft drinks kind of industry. That's it. You know what? It's ridiculous. So literally you need to learn more. You need to literally learn more about how, the structure of agricultural system in the USA right now, so you can learn more about that. Okay, the US imports shitload of agricultural products from other countries. Okay, all right, okay. Oh, literally seeing people so ignorant about the structure of a whole economy on agricultural products so annoying to me, I gotta say, because I specialize in economics. So it's kind of annoying me for people who claim themselves to be knowing so much about the economy, capitalism, how to make profit, but they keep insisting me that the US is total food secure and the US has great agriculture and they can feed themselves. Give me a fucking break. Your own people can't even have it. One of the main reasons why Vietnam is very secured in food is because each of the farmers of Vietnam own our own farmland. So we can grow our own food. Alright? Okay? Thanks to the land bank and thanks to the land reforms in 1950s, every single Vietnamese who was born in rural area will be distributed a piece of farm enough for them to live on. And with that piece of farm, we can grow our food there. And at the same time, we also encourage, the farmers who grow, food to export to, as for example, rice. Rice is one of our biggest food to export. Oh, sorry, read between the lines. Sorry, yes. I said that wrong. The US has a giant ass open field and they are not using it. We should go settle there and civilize those South Americans. Oh gosh. It's just really laughable for me that even now to this day that they say that the US is stable in food. Excuse me, what? Excuse me? What? But they were very stable in cheese, I gotta say, because I learned that there's a national reserve for cheese. So don't worry, you'll never run out of cheese. Don't worry. Thoughts on a new airline movement? You're talking about other countries, no airline. So here's the thing. Walking on a thin line like that is very delicate, dangerous, and every single step you take you need to be very careful. That is the truth. And yes, I do think that a country like Vietnam usually being, tear apart by big countries, and our location is very important. I do think that if they can try to be non-aligned and try to, like be friends with as many countries as possible like that. But be aware that this is not an easy choice, because of course choosing a sign, putting your fate in the hands of other, big powerful countries is way easier than trying to stand alone, be self-reliant like that. It is very important and hard to do. And it is seriously the thing that Vietnamese communists has been talking a lot, especially about the situation in the Ukraine. Because what's going on in the Ukraine, now this is our Vietnamese perspective. You could correct me if I'm wrong, if you don't agree with this, but it is just generally speaking, the perspective of Vietnamese communists about the situation in Ukraine and what a Ukraine should do right now. We seriously believe that the best for Ukraine right now is to be like Vietnam, to stay as non-aligned like that, to have that strategy. Because here's the thing, they have a very important kind of strategic location. They located right next to Russia, a superpower, and they are on the west of Russia, and they kind of the buffer zone between, NATO and Russia, and NATO and Russia are like two opposite forces each other. So the best thing they can do is to stay at the buffer zone and to stay as non-aligned. It means that they are not aligned with Russia nor NATO countries. They should have been doing that for so long. Now, one of the main reasons why the Ukraine is in this situation, because they chose the NATO side. They completely chose the NATO side, and they even asked the NATO to put the missile, the long-range missile or something, right in the border of Ukraine, the border next to Russia. Of course, Russia won't let any countries do that. Absolutely. Who are they? They Russia, you dude. They're not someone that you can bully. Not in the sense that I'm not saying that I'm bro against Russia. It's just from a pure geopolitical perspective. Okay? So the biggest mistake of Ukraine is to completely pick the side of NATO to piss off Russia. So, somebody raided. Welcome, Raider. Who raided me? Hi, everybody. I'm talking about the new non-aligned movement. Talking about, a small country like Vietnam, located right next to China, and also trading with the USA, and we kind of in the middle of the playground of China and the US, and how we our foreign policy have to, walk between the thin lines to maintain the independence for our country. So look at it from a pure, geopolitical point of view. Ukraine should choose the non-allied kind of stance and try to maintain, if they want to maintain as an independent country, self-reliance and protect their own citizens, to have a stable society, be the non-ally. At the same time you trade with both sides, like Vietnam is trading with both China and the USA. Alright? And at the same time, I gotta say that this is a true thing, that we use both sides to try to, calm each other down. We're kind of in the middle. So when China wants to do something, they say okay, other countries look at this and try to calm them down, and vice versa. When the US want to do something, and then hey, China, they're doing this. So it's just that's it. It's just it. If the leaders of your countries experienced enough in this thing. A small countries should try to have a food security, try to have their own defense system, and also not ally with any big other country against any other country, because like Vietnam, we're just a small country, and if we choose a side, we will pick a side, and we're just gonna be a pawn for that big country, for that superpower, and we are gonna be the first to be spent. Okay? Do you really think that if we sign with the USA, they would really care about us? Seriously? Really? Based on what they just did 50 years ago? And the relationship between Vietnam and China is also very extremely complicated. We literally just have a border conflict in 1979 under Deng Xiaoping of China. So it's extremely complicated. Do you really think that if you choose a side, that superpower will actually care about you and send every force that they have to really save you? You're gonna be the first to sacrifice if something happens. And at the same time, those superpower, they can, because they chose you chose them, so they can imperialize and exploit the shit out of you in the peacetime. And if anything happen, the only thing that you can receive is weapons, and that's it. And those weapons is very profitable to those capitalists in the big countries. Like, dude, that is the best you can have if you ally with, like, the US. If you have a conflict with... Also, here's the thing. If Vietnam chose the USA, of course that would piss China off. And because Vietnam located right next to China, so it's very gonna be easy to have a conflict between the two countries. And if really China, the country of 1.5 billion people, want to really kind of have a conflict with Vietnam, what can we do? We have only 100 million people, all right? 1.5 billion and 100 million, okay? And also at the same time, like what the US would do, you think that really the US would deploy, their navies, their shield to Vietnam to protect Vietnam? Like, are you daydreaming? What the fuck do you know about the USA? The best thing they would do is to send more weapons to Vietnam so we can fight harder to weaken each other. And then the US will stand out there in their own continent, watch the two countries weaken themselves, and then they could be the one who jumped in the last minute, took all the credit, and took the control of both countries, just exactly like what they did in World War II. The USA sold weapons to both sides. They sold weapons to both sides, both Germany and the alliance. Okay? And then, in the last minute of the fight, when the Nazi Germany was about to lose, the US jumped in, took all the credit, and then no, because thanks to the USA, they won the World War II. And right after that, they literally had the New World Order. They were the leader of the New World Order because they just sit there in their own fucking continent and wait for the two sides to weaken themselves to the point that the both sides will lose under the powerful weapons of the USA, and then they would took both advantage of both. So yes, that is literally what it would happen if you choose a side, and especially if you choose to be the ally of the US. Okay? I'm not making this shit up. It's exactly what happened in the history. And it will happen again because there's no fucking indication that the USA would ever change. If this bourgeois state still in power. Okay. Yes, IBM sold shit to the Nazis right to the end, and Americans avoided attacking American war factories in Nazi Germany. Exactly. You know what? This is officially a question for students in the final exam for graduation, high school graduation this year. It just happened last week. In the history test, There is a question about the World War II. This is literally it. I saw it. The student just took this test a few days ago in Vietnam. Why did the USA become the wealthiest country in the world after World War II? Option A, option B, some bullshit. Option C, because they sold weapons to both sides. Option D, something bullshit. And of course, the right answer is C. They sold weapons to both sides. Literally, even high school Vietnamese students know about that. The USA is a fucking hypocrite. Alright? And if you think that if you're naive enough, seriously, this is what we said. It's kind of evil, I gotta say, but based on the actual history, the knowledge that we have, Vietnamese communists, when we saw a small country chose to be a pawn of the West, of NATO or the US, we really look down on them. We really extremely terribly look down on them. They like, it's like when you look at an unsavable thing, you know, like you feel sorry for them, extremely sorry for them. You feel sad for them. You know exactly what would happen for them, but you also at the same time mad at them because they are so indoctrinated and naive to choose that. So that's it. So that is why I've been saying that the Vietnamese perspective about what's going on in Ukraine is extremely complicated. Because based on what happened to us, based on the nature of the USA, and based on the nature of NATO, and based on what's going on in Russia, it is like a mixed feeling about what's going on in Ukraine. Yes, we don't like Singapore. I mean, talking about Vietnamese communists. Of course, our official policy is to be friends with as many countries as possible. But Singapore? Seriously? We don't like them. Just look at their bourgeois state. The Lee Hsien Loong, the Prime Minister of Singapore, fucking the US pawn. And literally during the Vietnam War, Singapore literally made tons of money out of the Vietnam War on our own people's dead bodies, blood and flesh. So don't even think that Vietnamese, especially Vietnamese communists, like Singapore or something. And just a few years ago, the Lee Hsien Loong guy even tried to stop the division between Vietnam and Cambodia by literally saying that Lee Hsien Loong is literally said this to the face of the Prime Minister of Cambodia that, the Vietnam I know, I'm sorry, it's kind of something that Vietnam invaded Cambodia in the 1970s and 1980s, and it was so bad, and you know that we are on your side, literally. And right after that, literally, the Prime Minister of Cambodia, had to speak up against that and saying, literally, Vietnam did that just so we can end Pol Pot regime, the Khmer Rouge. The most genocidal regime in history of humanity. If you compare the people who died and the population of the country. And the whole freaking world, especially Southeast Asian countries, nobody did any jack shit. Just let Cambodia deal with their own dictator because the genocidal regime, because the USA backed it, the UK backed it, and then China under Deng Xiaoping backed it too. Vietnam was the only one country that sent troops there to end the existence of that genocidal regime. And because of that action, first Vietnam had to bear the border conflict with China. About around 20,000 Vietnamese soldiers died in that conflict, 1979. At the same time, the USA took that as a biggest excuse to sanction Vietnam comprehensively, and they also forced the whole world to sanction Vietnam during the 80s and the 90s, all the way to the early 2000s too, because we deployed troops to Cambodia to end the existence of the Khmer Rouge. Singapore was one of the first countries who joined that sanction. At that time, there were very few countries who supported Vietnam. One of them were Laos, and the other one was Cuba, I think. Yeah, Laos and Cuba, sure, but I'm not sure about some more other countries too, but yeah. So, here's the thing. CIA literally backed Pol Pot. Nobody can say otherwise. Not just UK, not just US, also UK. Of course, China backed them. Everybody knows that. But CIA also backed Pol Pot. Now, here's how they did it. Just a brief summary. So, at that time, Pol Pot, the Khmer Rouge, they worked with two other parties. We call it like one is white party and one is green party, if I remember it right. Okay. So, to stay away from the, public opinion. So, the US backed a party. I think that the US backed the Green Party. I could be wrong. One of the two parties. The US backed the Green Party, and then the CIA backed the Green Party, and then also Thailand also kind of agreed to be something like in the middle, to have like receive the help from, the money and weapons from the USA, and they put it in Thailand. Thailand, delivered those weapons to that Green Party in Cambodia, and that party sent those things to Pol Pot, the Khmer Rouge. So, technically, the US did not directly send weapons help to Khmer Rouge to Pol Pot, but they did it through many steps so they can swing away from the public opinion. So this is it. This is how it works, okay? This is ridiculous that, and then yes, to fucking Thailand too. Thailand was the one who the tunnel between Pol Pot and that was why when Pol Pot lost, the Khmer Rouge was smashed. A bunch of high-ranking members in the Khmer Rouge, even Pol Pot himself, immediately run to Thailand and live happily until early 2000, yes, when they were brought into the international court, yes, and suddenly the whole world jumped in and say they took all the credit of bringing those Pol Pot high-ranking officials on the international court. They took all the credit. Nobody even talked about who was the country who actually put an end to the genocidal regime, and nobody even fucking said sorry for joining the USA to sanction Vietnam at that time. Oh gosh. Mad. Whenever I think about the history of Vietnam, in the 70s, 80s, and the 90s, I'm fucking mad. It's just so unfair to this damn little country. And now, literally people in the US indoctrinated people. Extremely propagandized people say that Vietnam is a US ally. Holy shit. Seriously, it is an insult to Vietnamese people. Really. Being an ally to the US is a fucking insult to Vietnamese people. So don't. Please don't. Okay? Oh, Thai monarchy. They're nuts. The situation in Thai right now is very extremely complicated again because first, they still literally have a military dictator. running the whole country. Second, the royal family is still very powerful and they still take a lot of money from people's pocket. At the same time, the people are still struggling. So many parties, so many groups of people with different and belief and ideologies still struggling for their own freedom and determination. Sad. I did welcome Raider, so I got 2 raids something? What? This is awesome. Hey Lotsu, hi Lotsu. I'm not missing a chat. Not. So, Deng thought Pol Pot was socialist. Vietnam also thought that Pol Pot was a communist in the 50s. But here's the thing, the actual reason why for the Sino-Vietnamese split, conflict, not really split, but conflict. Now here's the thing. It's, again, I'm sorry to say this so many times, it's complicated. Alright? So, that was a Sino-Soviet split at that time. You know about that, right? And Sino-Soviet split, a very big split, caused a lot of, disagreement and conflicts, between the two biggest countries, the USSR nations, the USSR and China. So in that conflict, because based on our literal at that time, though, because of the Vietnam War and how much the USSR aided Vietnam during the Vietnam War, so Vietnam chose to side with the USSR. Alright? It was really hard and difficult decision, but due to many reasons, Vietnam chose the USSR, and even during the 1975, we chose the subsidizing model under the USSR to apply in Vietnam. So our relationship with the USSR is very close, and China considered that to be a threat because Vietnam located right next to China, but we chose the USSR. Okay? And that caused a lot of tension between the two countries because of course China wants Vietnam to be closer to China. At the same time, Pol Pot took power in Cambodia, and Cambodia is another country located right next to Vietnam, and at that time China wanted Cambodia to be a power check to Vietnam. So because Vietnam started with the USSR, so the Deng Xiaoping wanted Cambodia to sign with China. So the tension in this teeny tiny peninsula. So that was why they elected Pol Pot too. It was not because of Deng was naive and he didn't know that Pol Pot was actually genocidal. They decided to back Pol Pot as a power check against the alliance between Vietnam and the USSR. And when Vietnam decided to send, volunteer soldiers to Cambodia to end the existence of that genocidal regime, and China didn't want Vietnam to do that. China wanted to weaken Vietnam in that situation. They didn't want us to win because they knew that we were very powerful at that time. So that was why they started the conflict. They started the border conflict between Vietnam and China in 1979 because of many reasons, due to many, many reasons. First, as I said, they want to weaken the military power of Vietnam, so we would not have an easy victory against the Khmer. At the same time, they want to prove to Vietnam that, okay, even though you chose the USSR, but let's see what would happen if we attack you. It is like a slap. They want a slap into our face to wake us up. Okay, you sided with the USSR, but you got attacked like this. The USSR won't send troops to help you. And before that, and during that same time, the USSR, the USA, and China had kind of meeting something together, and they had an agreement that they won't deploy troops to any smaller countries against any countries of this like meeting or something like that. Yes, I read a document about that. So literally the USSR, when China talk about that thing, the USSR literally agree that the USSR won't help any of its allied countries if any conflict happen. Because if like that, they would break the treaty. So yes, 1979, China had deployed their soldiers to the north border of Vietnam. Remember, Vietnam was about to send soldiers to the south, to Cambodia, in the north, right before we had the officially sent soldiers. China attacked our north border. They try to separate. So like Vietnam, of course, had to separate our military force. A part of it to go to the north to attack that, and a part of it go to the south to weaken Vietnam. And they did. It happened for about 2 months, I think. Yes, and there was a biggest massacre happened there. Is Tống Chụp massacre. So it was extremely complicated piece of time, and loss. This is the kind of knowledge that you usually do not have from Western media outlets, especially from the English-speaking sphere kind of document, because most of those things just talk from the perspective of the U.S. Okay, and I'm speaking from literally the perspective of an actual Vietnamese communist who trying to be very nuanced in this piece of history. Extremely difficult, and until now I saw it, a lot of people, especially Westerners, they are very confused. They're very confused about like, what, Vietnam and China, they had a conflict because of Pol Pot? What? They just don't know much about it. They are very confused about that thing, and I'm trying to educate people. It's a painful history. Vietnam normalized the relationship with China in the 90s, same time with the USA. So we kind of move on, and we educate each other about. Now here's the thing. Before this, about until 2010, Vietnam still do not want our people to know much about the conflict between Vietnam and China in 1979. That is the truth. Before 2010, we didn't want our population to know more about that. Why? Lots of people say like, what the fuck? Why do you want us to forget? Now, here's the thing. At that time, Vietnam tried to normalize the relationship between both U.S. and China because we were desperate at that time. We were so poor, and we need them to lift the sanctions, especially the USA and many other countries, to lift the sanctions so we can trade with other countries, we can feed our own people. At the same time, the USA always use their superpower propaganda machine to stop the division between the two countries, Vietnam and China. And using that conflict is a perfect thing to do at that time because it just happened. And because of the fucked up, complicated piece of history like that, so it was extremely sensitive. And it's so easy for the U.S. to use that narrative to stop the division between the two countries, while we are trying so hard to normalize the relationship, trying so hard to buy and sell things to China because China is a huge market, very important to Vietnamese people. So we try to, avoid talking about that in the official TV channel or news, and even in history class. We try to kind of forget that. But recently, in the last 10 years, we started talking about that more, and even, when Vietnam is getting more and more stable, it doesn't mean that we will ever forget that piece of history. It is at that time, it's like a strategic choice that we put aside that. Do not create any condition for the U.S. to make use of that, to harm our own people. But now Vietnam is getting more and more strong and more stable. And our political stance is more and more clear. And we can defend ourselves if anything bad happens. So we started talking about this more. That is why more and more Vietnamese people are getting educated about this time. Even me, I gotta say that I only knew about this I heard about this before, but I didn't have a chance to really deep dive into this because like not many people talk about that. Okay, so in the last 3 or 5 years, I started learning more about this history of time in a more comprehensive kind of perspective and looking at the whole development of the relationship between Vietnam with the US and with China. So I'm trying to give you some very kind of pretty basic about this extremely complicated time. USA literally puts Mexican people in concentration camps, so I don't think they get to be critical of other countries' relations with neighbors. The USA, huh? The US has a fucking A. They put indigenous people in concentration camps. The concentration camps in the USA was literally the model that Nazi Germany studied, so they used that against Jewish people. The US was literally the role model for the Nazi Germany. USA allied with Vietnam, Sino-Soviet split down was trying to approach China in the West. Was perfect time for the US to attack. Yeah. So Americans forget that neighboring countries are typically dangerous to one another if their relationship is testy, to say the least. Yep. Apartheid South Africa was based off Jim Crow laws. Yep, talking about geopolitics too, the USA and Canada, they located literally on their own island in the middle of 2 big seas. So that is why usually in a conflict that happening in Europe or Asia, it just sit there safe, like, because they're on this other side of the earth. Like pretty safe, I gotta say, and then because they are very superpower, imperialists, exploiting the whole world, they're very rich. They usually make use of that situation and they sell weapons to both sides, as what they did in World War II. And they just jump in whenever the war is about to end and to pick the winning side and took all the credit. The US is a manipulative freak. It has never let go of Vietnam throat. Never ever. Never freaking ever. Just so tired of it. But it is what it is. We have to survive with it in this world. Man, if you go, I went to, me and EJ went to the Pom Pot, the Khmer Rouge museum in Siem Reap. It's unspeakable about how genocidal they were. Unspeakable. Also, they caused the Ba Chuk massacre in An Giang province. An Giang province is a province located next to the border between Vietnam and Cambodia. And here's the thing, the Pol Pot, I don't know why, but they're literally fascists. They believe that Cambodian are the purest race in the area or something like that, and Vietnamese were like the biggest threat to the superiority of Cambodian race, of Khmer people, actually of Khmer. Vietnamese race was like Vietnamese people were the biggest threat to the superiority of Khmer in Cambodia. So that was why they consider Vietnam to be the biggest enemy. So after gaining power in Cambodia, they for years from 1974, even before we ended the Vietnam War, from 1974, we started attacking the borders of Vietnam, and that tension just keep getting escalated and escalated. From 1974 to 1979, we tried to talk to them through, like, deal with that situation through diplomatic means, you know, try to talk to stop them from doing that, but they just didn't listen. For 5-6 freaking years, we tried so hard to end it with the peaceful means. That didn't work. So the final straw that broke the camel's back was happened in 1979, early 1979. Yes, an army of Khmer Rouge crossed the border, came to An Giang province of Vietnam, came to the Ba Chúc village, and through the night they slaughtered 3,200 villagers. Most of them were women and children. And they did not just use guns to end their life. They used all means of torture that I don't want to violate any terms of service on this YouTube. Go Google. Just go to Wikipedia, even an extremely right-wing site like Wikipedia. They talk about how horrible that massacre was. Ba Chúc massacre, the BACSUC. Ba Chúc massacre happened in Vietnam in 1979, 1978, 1979, around that time. They for in the matter of just a few days, they murdered, tortured, killed 3,200 innocent villagers without any warning. And that was it. That was the reason why, like, Vietnam decided that we can't do this anymore. We can't just stand them anymore. We have to send troops to end the existence of this genocidal regime. And even though we received a lot of threats and sanctions from other countries because we dare to attack our democratically elected president of Cambodia. Of Cambodia. And yes, the leader was USA. They're like, nope, can't. So that was why it led to the next 10 years of conflict and sanctions against the Vietnamese people. So that was it. Yeah, the Sino-Soviet split was the worst thing to happen. The second worst thing is that the collapse. Oh no. The second thing was the collapse of the USSR. I mean, it's really sad, gotta say. Hello from Brazil. Now, agencies like CIA have been chaining current government protocols while Brazilian capital voting in the next elections. God damn it. Pain me shock. I'm not shocked, but I'm mad. Oh, I want to show you this. Oh, give me a second. Give me a second. This is... So, on a TV interview, I think. This is a U.S. official talking about God damn it. Give me a second, okay? I'm just gonna show you literally a CIA agent, a high-ranking U.S. official admitted that he did this through the years. And I mean, now let's listen to this.
Donald Trump looking out for Donald Trump. It's a once-in-a-lifetime occurrence.
I don't know that I agree with you. To be fair, with all due respect, one doesn't have to be brilliant to attempt a coup.
One doesn't have to be brilliant to attempt a coup. Means that he believes that attempting a coup is so easy to the USA.
Disagree with that. As somebody who has helped plan coup d'etat, not here, but other places.
You hear that? This motherfucker just admitted that he had help planned coup d'etat many times, many other places. Just like normal like this.
Not here, but other places. It takes a lot of work, and that's not what he did. It was just stumbling around from one idea to another. Ultimately, he did unleash the rioters at the Capitol. As to that, there's no doubt. But not to overthrow the Constitution, to buy more time to throw the matter back to the states to try and redo the issue.
So he's literally admitted that he did plan the coup so many times in many other countries. I mean, can you please give him some respect that actually it took a lot of effort to start the coups? He just said this in straight face. It's like an opposite. I just had breakfast this morning, yep. I had many breakfasts before in my life, yep. So... Yes, exactly. Coups are fine as long as it's done to other countries, right? And show him some respect. It took a lot of effort. Come on. They this is it. Ah, gosh. We lied, we cheated, we stole, we had entire training courses. Former CIA Director Mike Pompeo. I'm speechless. I don't know what else to say, man. And the Tampa didn't even pay attention to it. Exactly. They the old man, the motherfucker say, I as someone who has helped plan many coup d'etats, I mean, in other places, and then the Tampa just not along. Such a fucking sick society. Sick society. And the election is happening right now in Brazil, in October to be exact. But we had our Brazilian comrade said the USA CIA actually has been planning to rig that election too, so to make sure that Bolsonaro will keep winning. I hope you understand that I'm just speechless. I know this is the nature of the USA, yes. I'm not surprised, but of course I'm mad. I'm very angry right now. But the thing that I'm even more angry is that I still saw so many other USians who just nod along and act like this is so normal. This is a good thing to do to the USA backing coups in other countries. So good. It's like the right thing to do. What a sick country is that? What a sick society is that? Fidel Castro also said that there never could have been a coup in the USA because there isn't a US embassy in Washington. Yep, Elon Musk. How can we forget that? We will cool whoever we want. The most serious country in the world, exactly. Exactly. Just look at the history of Latin America. How many coups happened over there? With the help of the USA and the CIA and the liberals with the Democrats. Oh, talking about that, Elon Musk refused to buy Twitter, right? This is literally the biggest scam. 2020, like, oh, what? Excuse me? That's a super sticker. Let me check the super sticker. So yes, if you don't know about that yet, the Elon Musk has refused to buy Twitter, and now Twitter is trying to sue Elon Musk because he broke the deal. Thank you, Matthias, for your super chat. Is this? Thank you for the super sticker. Thank you, thank you. So yep. So if I'm not wrong, was it because Elon Musk a while ago? Elon Musk asked Twitter to tell him the exact number of the bot accounts, fake accounts on Twitter, right? And then Twitter gave him something like 5% of the accounts, the bots account of Twitter, and Elon Musk didn't just that. So he refused the deal, and now Twitter is suing Elon Musk. Oh gosh, But Hollywood show me that the U.S. is the guardian of the free world, exactly. Like Avengers, it's ridiculous. Like, and all the time, whenever an evil force like from aliens attacking the whole world, they don't give a shit about nearly 200 other countries in the world. It's always just America with the 3 Ks. Always America, the superheroes from America who save the whole planet. Not the whole planet, the whole universe. With the what? I think Thor is a non-American, I think. The very rare non-American superhero who is played by an extremely white character, but okay, whatever. You have Superman, right? No, you don't? I'm sorry. I'm so bad at this. You have a Captain America. You have Iron Man. You have Black Widow. You also have a Hawkeye. You also have a what? Who else? Red Witch. Silver. What? What? Who else? Mostly is that, right? Oh, Chris, I'm working Australian. Sorry, Australian. Sorry. Okay, but he's extremely white though. I'm sorry. Ant-Man. Yeah, Ant-Man. Like, they always are so white. So white and so American. Doctor Stranger from UK, right? Okay, another Imperial Core, alright. And Wolverine is Canadian. So you're seeing, yeah. I mean, the Thor is from different planet, right? I mean, the story of Thor, like from what planet? I forgot. I'm so bad at it now. Started with A, right? But Captain America is green as fuck. Captain America. Asgard, yes. From Asgard, so at least they're not from Earth, okay? Captain America. Imagine like cringe so hard, and like Captain America was like the second one who can lift up the Thor's hammer because he's Captain America. Excuse me, what? What? I feel so fucking cringe in this because Wolverine's like, can I call it Wolverine's like a CAS like or something? Like when it's the part when I saw Captain America can lift up the Thor's hammer and Thor was like shocked and scared of him, like that. What? What's the logic behind this? Like, what's the logic behind this? Excuse me, means that, like, you know, Captain America is like as powerful as Thor, an extremely powerful god in Asgard. Like, what? Why did they? Yeah. So it's kind of cringe, I gotta say. Yeah, I gotta say, Wolverine sounds very much like a CAA special project or something. Yeah, the only one who is worthy can lift the Thor's hammer, which is Captain America. He was godly. Gosh. Oh, gosh. Oh, hi Anatafi. Hi everybody. We have about 20 minutes left in the stream. Okay, so let's check the comment. Have fun together. Oh, I'm trying to get more information about studying in Vietnam. People said like, wow, a long time ago. Sorry, I didn't answer this. Would you be open to answering question about that? I'll study in Vietnam, studying in Vietnam, studying in Vietnam. If you want to study in Vietnam, you have to study Vietnamese first. I'm sorry, this is just you can. We don't offer like English course for English students like this. As far as I know of, I could be wrong that we have a new like course right now. But as far as I know of, usually when I check, you know, the Da Nang University of Foreign Language. We have that. You can go to Da Nang, join the, go to study Vietnamese in this university for 4 years. And you also study different subjects too, but mostly you study Vietnamese first, so you can study different subjects. And after that, you can register to study other faculty if you want. But the first thing you need to do is to go to Vietnam, study Vietnamese in our foreign language university to get the certificate and then continue your study. Or you can learn at both at the same time, study Vietnamese and also study different subjects to get the certificate. But anyway, you have to study Vietnamese, so you can study those the subjects. Okay, so you can go to there. Usually 3 big cities that you should consider. Of course, the first one is Ho Chi Minh City. They're huge. They have lots of options for you. And I suggest you to mostly choose the schools that has like foreign language. But usually those university or college, they offer like special course for foreign students in Vietnam. They will teach you Vietnamese at the same time with teaching other subjects. The second city is Hanoi, and the third one is Da Nang. Okay, Ho Chi Minh City number 1, Hanoi number 2, and Da Nang number 3. They have one of the biggest foreign language schools in those 3 big cities. There's the Super Sticker. Aww, Angela Lange, thank you so much for your cute Super Sticker. It's a blue pear. Saying thank you. Thank you. So cute. How's his Vietnamese? He haven't been in Vietnam for about 2 months, so I don't know. I have to check him when he get back here. Oh, really? Oh, you have a Little Saigon, right? Saigon City, Little Saigon in California, Orange County, right? Little Saigon. They are extremely three-stripe, right? Yes, I know about that. Very famous. Yes. Oh, it's really good. Israel, he typed this perfectly. He said, những cái này tôi không đọc nên tôi nhanh quên. Means that like, these days I didn't study, so I forget it very fast. Oh, really good at this. 10 out of 10 point for this EJ. Perfect Vietnamese typing. I was surprised. Thank you so much, David, for your super chat. I was surprised to find that Vietnam had 10 million COVID cases. Yes, it looks like it was only on SARS instead of the usual 4 in Western countries. Has there been a change in policy since then? Because we do like our vaccination rate is really high, and we still give people, free treatment, free tests, something like that. So even though the cases are high, but the death rate is actually low, and there's not a big big surge in Vietnam like that, like really cause any big damage to the society. But we are very concerning about the new kind of variant, the BA5 and BA75, I think. Yes, we are preparing for that, and we're also preparing to give people the 4th and the 5th doses of the vaccine. So yeah, I know that we have about 10 million cases, but they are like mostly very light and not severe, and it's not like it doesn't affect the society very much, in fact. Because at the same time, we still give people free treatment, free test, and quarantine if needed. And yes, things are pretty stable. But with the new variant, we're not sure. That is why we're very careful right now. Wait a minute, what? What? The Captain America said that they beat the commies in Vietnam, what? They basically beat the commies in Vietnam? Oh really? I didn't know that. Okay, now. So, he was given the super soldier serum so they can beat Vietnam, but his flight just got buried under the ice for 80 years, right? I mean, the idea of Captain America is very cringe to me. Oh, the people CDC, yep, should be aware of that. Everybody check this out. So we talked about this in our last MOONCAST, but basically people CDC is an organization where they will give you basic, and important information and updates about, the COVID-19 situation in the USA, about how to protect yourself and how the vaccines work and how to do it. So please check this out. Just Google peoplescdc.org. And this is a site where can help you, to have at least some clue about what's been actually going on in the USA with the COVID-19 situation. So you can be aware and prepare for yourself, especially when the new variant is getting more and more popular and more deadly like this. Please check this out. Okay. Highly recommended. Oh, thank you so much, Jason Kukula, for your super chat. Oh, no, this is a sorry, this is a long time ago. Mistake. Yeah, CDC. Actually, that is why they call it the people CDC. Hello, now I'm a film student in Brazil, and most recently I've been discovering some amazing movies from Vietnam. I recommend that everyone who loves cinema take some time to look up these wonderful films. Yes. We have a lot of films. Gotta say, good films. I personally love old films, so I would mostly just introduce you old films. You can go check out my channel, check out my playlist, Luna Cinema. I have some list of movies. I need to add more movies in it, huh? But another movie that I want to introduce to you is this one. I won't play anything because of the copyright. But this is an old Vietnamese movie about let me show you some. I cannot show you the exact any of the actual movie, but some like screenshot of this is fine, right? So the movie is Mùi cỏ cháy. It means the smell of the burning grass. They have English subtitle on YouTube for free, so just go check it out. It's right on YouTube. It is a movie about the Vietnam War from the Vietnamese, a true Vietnamese communist perspective, and talk about the life of the people at that time, the life of the young people who joined the fight, and how hard it was, you know. It's easy, like, yeah, the English subtitle for it. And it is a really, like, you know, they show the true face, the brutality of the war through the Vietnamese eyes, about what kind of sacrifice we had to make, what kind of terror we had to go through. And this movie, lots of real, like, veterans of the Vietnam War, you know, the Vietnam veterans that are, like, literally pretty much correct compared to their experience in the war. Just talk about Quảng Trị in 1971, 1972, 1971. The battlefield of Quảng Trị, one of the most heavily bombed battlefield in Vietnam, and what we had to go through to this time. So highly recommend this if you haven't watched it yet. A refresh from the Hollywood movies about the Vietnam War. Check this out. And the thing is that we don't paint this as like some like glory or like Vietnam. I'm happy to find this. Show the true face of the actual war, the terror that we had to face. Our young soldiers, young and naive soldiers, had to go through, and the horror of the war on this side. So guys, go check it out. It's traumatic though. So content warning is really traumatic. Hi, Sam. When I first saw this title, I literally laughed out loud. Imagine thinking Vietnam is U.S. allied. Exactly. Imagine that. I laughed so hard. I laughed my ass off too. But at the same time, lots of people still literally believe in it. They are so indoctrinated that when I pointed out the official statement of the government of Vietnam saying that Vietnam won't align with any nation against other nations, they just straight up just laugh and just dismiss the reality. They just can't wrap their head around The idea that Vietnam's official stand is to not align with any country. They just can't. It's so strange to me, When the reality slaps them in the face, they can't. They rather bury their head in the sand than actually look at it. So check this movie out if you want to have a fresh from the Hollywood movie. The bullshit Hollywood movies about the Vietnam War. The smell of the burning grass. The smell of the burning grass. Mùi cỏ cháy. Okay? Almost like the non-alignment movement exists. No, they think of it like, they have a binary set of thinking. Like they only can think of some things in a binary sense, like black or white, day or night, like 1 or 0. So they cannot fathom the idea that the country decided to be, like, they can understand that, like, we must choose a side in a conflict between China and USA. A small country like Vietnam, they must choose a side because yes, that's their binary thinking. They must for them or against them. They cannot understand that actually we're neutral. We're not gonna pick any side. Okay, not a lie. They can't. They just no. You have to. You neither against it. You neither against it or pro us. That's it. Yeah, either with me or against me. Exactly. Yep. So US tried again with Russia too. Yes, they forced the whole world to sanction Russia. Like, how ridiculous is that? Exactly what they did in the 1970s and 80s, after the Vietnam War and with the Pol Pot thing bullshit. They literally forced the whole world through United Nations. They forced the whole world to sanction Vietnam. That's exactly what they did to Russia right now. That they forced Vietnam, they forced the whole world to sanction Vietnam. They literally demand all other countries to join the sanction with the U.S. to join the democracy. Feel like, dude, this is just. Can't you choose a different strategy or something? This is too familiar already. This is exactly what you've been doing for decades. Tired of it. What? Russia? It's just my accent. It's Russia. I don't know. This is how I call Russia. I don't know. Exactly. The sanctions don't do any jack shit about the bourgeoisie, the bourgeois state. They don't do shit. They don't. Just make people suffer. Literally, they sad. In the Cuba, situation, literally in the document from, official statement from the United States of America, they literally said that they sanctioned Cuba to bring about starvation, hunger, and instability. The whole point is to make people suffer so they would stop supporting Fidel Castro in the hope that their own people, because of starvation, they will overthrow their own government. Literally, sanctions were created so the people, the working class, will suffer. That's it. And that is why Vietnam and over 30 other countries in the world just refuse to sanction Russia. We refuse to sanction Russia because, and we're receiving terrible threat from the West. It's like, Why Vietnam not assigned, not aligned with the U.S. and NATO in sanctioning Russia? Are you supporting Russia against NATO and the USA? Gosh. Bye, Sam. Yes, right? Relax. Relax, okay? The reason why we look down on Ukraine, the bourgeois state of Ukraine with the Zelensky dude, is that despite how much the people are suffering, they desperately still cling to the idea that like they literally like they act like they knee down to beg NATO to allow them to be a member of NATO. It's like, dude, have some dignity. Have some fucking guts. Like, what? What you've been doing? Like, what? It's clearly that NATO will never let you to be a member. It just election. Best wishes for you. Hope that Lula can win. I know that lots of you say that Lula is not perfect, but in a situation like this, fighting against Bolsonaro, absolutely I want Lula to win. I really seriously hope that the election can change something important in Brazil in this year, this October. Seriously. I do hope that Lula will win, even though I know that he's not perfect. Nobody's perfect. But it's still better than nothing. Okay? It's still better than fucking the Bolso Nazi running the whole country. I seriously, sincerely hope that Lula will win in that election in Brazil. You know more about Sukarno? I had to say that I don't know much about Sukarno. I don't know much, sadly. I just know that Ho Chi Minh visited Sukarno in the 50s and in the 60s, I think. Yes, because at that time, the Indonesian Communist Party was the biggest communist party in Asia, I think in Southeast Asia. They had the most members at that time, but they heavily got like gutted out by anti-communist force. Check out Jakarta Method, the book. How the USA gutted the whole communist movement in Indonesia. The Jakarta Method was a book. It is a book that could open your eyes about the true nature, the brutality of the CIA and how they've been manipulating the whole world using creating the anti-communist movement. Solidarity to Brazil. I do hope that Lula will win and Brazil can have a better future for the working class. The third largest communist party at that time, yes. Yes. No idea. Don't ask me. I'm just a Vietnamese girl. I can't. I just can't. I can't answer this question. I'm sorry. I just don't know about it. Yes. Jakarta Method by Vincent Bevins. Yes. Gaddafi is another complicated figure. I can talk about this in a Vietnamese, communist Vietnamese perspective. We Vietnamese, most of us like Gaddafi in a sense that we don't think he's perfect or he never done anything wrong. Everybody is a human. Even Ho Chi Minh did some mistakes, so yes, of course. We like him in the sense that actually Gaddafi was the one who helped Vietnam a lot, in the past. And it meant a lot to Vietnamese people. And we have a saying that we would treat people the way they treat us. So yes, because Gaddafi did a lot of good things to Vietnam during the hard times, so we respect him for that. And yes, generally speaking, we don't have any big public opinion against Gaddafi because he did a lot of good things to help Vietnam during the hard time, our hard time. Yep, that's it. I can only answer the question from the Vietnamese communist perspective. For a Bolsonaro. I mean, yep, for a Bolsonaro. So here's the thing. This is how we Vietnamese, especially Vietnamese communists, look at things. Like, what do you call it? Like public figures, foreign public figures. Well, mostly the first thing we would consider is how they've been treating Vietnam. That is a very important factor to decide our attitude towards, a person, something like that. We are very practical people, I gotta say, very practical. The first thing we ask is not like what kind of ideology they follow. That is true. That is not the first question they ask. We're not like ultra about this. The first thing we look for it is how they've been treating Vietnam, especially during the hard time. And then we would look at what they actually do to our country, to our people, and then what they actually do to their own country and to their people, and then we talk about their ideology. The first thing we talk about, and the most important thing, is how they treat us, our country. So that is a very practical point of view coming from Vietnam, especially Vietnamese communists. So it might be strange to you, because we're not like ultra or idealists about this. We're very practical, and like we literally believe that a friend in need is a friend indeed. Means that does they help us or not? Does they help us or not? So yeah. No. Vietnamese economic policy, I don't think that I have any. You can check out, the Communist Review. Questions, Communist Review. Questions on socialism, I think. Yeah, okay, so you can check this out. I'm sending the link in the chat. I'm showing the thing in the chat. So here's the thing. This is one of the official website. I think it's very, very, very good. official website of the Communist Party of Vietnam, and this article talking about some theoretical and practical issues on socialism and the path to socialism in Vietnam. And we talk about, economy too, because we consider that building a strong and stable economy is very important in this phase of building socialism, because a society could only strive and build socialism if that society is strong and wealthy enough to feed its own people. So check that link out if you want to learn more about the system of Vietnam. Okay, I just wrote about it. I just wrote it last year. The first secretary of the Communist Party of Vietnam, Nguyễn Phú Trọng, I like him a lot. He's really cool. There's no restriction. Just get the vaccine and go here. That's it. You should take the test to make sure that you don't have a COVID though. Just to make sure. But anyway, if you take at least 3 doses of vaccines, you can go here. Let me read this again. There is a YouTuber called Captain Cool 007. He's an anti-social justice warrior and says socialist countries like Vietnam keep their traditional values against gender ideology and Western degeneracy. Do you have an opinion on that? Let me read this again to really grab this question. I will keep our traditional values against the gender ideology and Western degeneracy. It's kind of yes and no. So here's the thing. This is official. Okay. Okay, so traditional values against the Westernization. We call it like, yes, we are preserving our culture against Westernization. And Westernization means that individualism mostly. Racism and individualism. So that is why we trying to maintain, to protect our own culture, to fight against it, because we know that having our own culture and history is very important to maintain the existence of a country like Vietnam, because we must all remember our history. But the thing is that we are doing this in a very careful and scientific way, not just like it's a yes and no, because not how you say that, not all the traditions of Vietnam are good. For example, we used to get married very early and have babies very early. Now that is a bad tradition, and we're trying to stop that. Okay, and we are also trying to adopt, all the scientific knowledge about the health of people, about gender and the health of to protect people. So yes. So also at the same time, we know that a bunch of other stuff from the we call it Westernization is bad, and we're trying to fight against it. It's obvious. That is why we're trying to bring back our tradition. But we are doing this thing in a very dialectical, materialist way. Means that we chose the best of both sides and try to make them work together. If they align together, good. And if they oppose each other, we will decide which one is better for society, and then we'll keep that. So yes, dialectical, materialist way, and it's not exactly a yes or a no. It is more complicated than that. You're the one who asked about the Khmer Rouge. Yes. tried, right? Tried. Việt Nam do have a Christmas and Halloween day. We do. Yeah. It's not our official holiday, but we do. Who give a shit? Who give a fucking shit? I'm a Vietnamese communist born and living in Vietnam. Why do I have to care about white dude from America talking jack shit, knowing jack shit about my country and just talk out of their ass? I don't give a shit. Whatever. I gotta say, not all white dudes are the same. EJ is my partner and he's also my tactical white dude. So we do have, believe it or not, I'm not an anti mixed race kind of marriage or couple. I'm not an ethno-stater. So I do think that the choice of the partner is totally a personal choice. Okay, and it has nothing to do with my ideology whatsoever. You just love whoever you love and be with whoever you want to, okay? There's nothing wrong, getting married to a white dude from America, because there are still so many good people out there. And that's why they call them, if you're white and you're American, and if you, communist, socialist, leftist, and you support the land bank, you support the movement, you support the revolution, you're considered the ally to the non-white people. I am very proud to call you my tactical white dudes. Solidarity. It is very important. Please be our tactical white dudes, because we need people like you a lot. Because due to the amount of racism and ignorance, lots of ding-dong right-wingers, white supremacists, racist shitheads only listen to other white male native speaker voice. And it would be really great if you can work within the system, quote unquote, by making use of your identity as a white cis male native speakers and speak in favor of us. Spread the truth about land bank, spread the truth about decolonization, spread the truth about communism and socialism, and we great friendship, solidarity. Land back now, yay! Tactical marriage, yes. Please have a tactical marriage with tactical white dudes. And then use them. We non-white people have to use them as our spokesperson to those racist motherfuckers, so they can listen to us. Lots of people make fun of my accent because I am not a native speaker, yes, and I am not white, so then they just usually laugh at me and refuse to listen to me. And then I just teach EJ, my tactical white dude, exactly what to say, and he just told that to his white dude community. Yes, they tend to listen to him a lot. So yes, I use him as a tool, a very practical tool. So solidarity to all our tactical white dudes. Yes, be like John Brown. I do like John Brown. He's really cool. He's a cool guy. Literally cool guy, even though he was murdered by the reactionary state. But speaking about John Brown, I like him a lot. He's cool. Yay! But seriously, talking about it from a tactical perspective, it is very important to have a spokesperson that can make use of their identity, make use of their, privilege, quote unquote, make use of their whiteness, even though, yes, we all know that it doesn't exist. But in this racist, hellhole capitalist society, where lots of people still consider whiteness to be a real thing and receive a privilege of it, make use of that. Okay? Make use of it. Thanks a lot. Yup. Salute. Our tactical white dudes. Seriously though, that's so awesome. Yeah, I like John Brown a lot. He's cool. No way. No. No fucking way. Why do I have to give me my appearance, my presentation to a racist fuckhead so he can make money out of me? I'm not that ding dong. Never. I would debate him in Vietnamese though. The thing is that I only want to have a solidarity with my tactical white comrades. No more attention to those fuckheads. I know. I have my own life. We have our own life too. Well, we have the whole world to fight for. The very least you should do is to pay attention to some debate bros. Like, what? They can't do shit. They can't start a movement. All they care about is to grift and make money. That's it. They don't give a shit. Like, here's the thing. I don't see them as an actual threat to the movement of the working class, even though they have like huge platform. You know why? I don't consider them a threat until they go out there and do some shit. And those people, they are very, very less likely, very unlikely to go out there and actually do something like this. Like the Arcad, you remember that guy? Exactly the guy. He had a huge platform and it turned into shit. It turned into a fucking laughable thing when he gone out to real life and trying to start like to run for to become a politician or something. It's like ridiculous. Those people, they just grift online. They never go out there and actually do some shit. And literally, I talked to comrades who actually organize. They don't even care about those people. Like those, like losers. Like what? They just grift online. They don't do anything in real life. It's not a threat. I would consider them a threat when they actually got out of the fucking chair, out of, the screen, organize with other working class, talk with other working class, start a movement, start a dual power structure, and join some like protest or something. Not until then. Yes, Candy Chingo, exactly. Now, this is true story. So, this is true story. This is how like tactical white dude and working in the system, quote, quote. True story. In 1950s, when we were fighting against some colonialist France, right? So there was a soldier, he's Poland, I think. Yes, Poland. He came from Poland, and at first he joined the colonial army of France, and then he found out the true nature of the colonialism, and he decided to ran away from his own army and ran to Vietnam, joined the communist side, and he became a very important like part of the enemy of Vietnam. And what did he do? What did we do? Of course, we not like refuse them or torture him because he was white. He looked absolutely white to us, I'm sorry. And even because he used to be the part of the organization, we welcome him. We welcome him with both of our arms, and then we gave him an order. We literally gave him the uniform of a high-ranking soldier in the French army. And he acted as an actual, a captain of that French army, and he worked as a spy. He came there with a few like bombs or something, grenades, and literally destroyed the base to lead the way for the real communists to go there and to attack. And with his help, we did win the meaningful victory against the colonialism. So now that's what we call work within the system. Not like the liberal bullshit about work within the system. That is what we meant when we say work within the system. We literally welcome a white ass looking dude, arm them, give them uniform, and ask them to be a spy. And because he looked white as fuck, so none of the colonial soldiers like suspected him, and and then he survived so many times like that. So yeah, typical white dude. Exactly. You win over people by showing the actual, things you do in real life. That is why I've been done telling you. Been done telling you. Yes, that you should use the internet as a tool for you to organize in real life. To go out there, find an organization. And if you cannot find one, maybe start one with somebody that you trust in your area. And start like talking to houses people, to hungry people. And if you can, bring them some food. Even bring them a joint. As I said, like somebody asked, like they are trying to have a mutual aid org in their neighbor, but they don't know how to contact, to start the conversation with houses people, because usually houses people, they are very cautious, and it's very hard for them to start the conversation, to trust other people. And what we do is you can find a houses people that and ask them for help to be ambassador for you if you can. Or the easy thing to do is just have a joint, offer them a joint or something. Then you can start the conversation. You talk to them. You learn what they're like kind of what the troubles they are facing with, what they need help, what kind of help they need, and what kind of help you can offer, and then work on that. So the point of being online is that you can go real life to real life and organize. Do not just stay online 100% and being griefed online, and you have a big audience means that you're always right, your opinion matters the most. No, it doesn't mean shit in real life. You only can get people to your side, to join the movement, to change the world, if you go out there and do something. From act according to your abilities to act according to your needs. Very important. If you cannot go outside because of many reasons, I totally understand it. Again, from act according to ability to act according to your needs. So just do whatever you can. And my saying is just try to not do nothing. Okay? I know organizing is very hard. It is very hard. It is hard. That is why Marx and Engels and Lenin and Ho Chi Minh and Mao worked their ass off to come up with their own ideology, communism, Leninism, Marxism, so people can actually know why and how to organize to go change the real life, because The whole point of being communist, socialist, leftist, anarchist is to change the world to have a better world for the working class. That is the final point. The theory and the practice must go hand in hand together. Theory apply to practice. Practice change and fix the theory to make it more suitable, and then you update the new theory, then you apply the new theory to practice. This is literally dialectical materialism. Okay? It's the whole point is to organize, because only if you organize you can make some change, or else you're gonna be just a grifter on the internet like me. But it's true though, I'm on the other side of the earth. It's really hard. I'm trying to, do something in real life too. And the thing that I'm doing right now is I do what I can. I cannot organize directly in the USA because I'm not there. It's impossible for me. So what I'm there, formation according to your ability to act according to your need. What I can do is to give you knowledge, to give you theory, give you advice, to answer your questions, and then to encourage you to go out there and organize. I think that is the biggest difference for me and many other debate bros on the internet. Because those debate bros they're individualists, they're grifters. So they just want you to just sit in your computer, in front of your computer, in front of your phones, and be online all day and watch them grift all day and act like they are Mr. Mrs. Know-it-all, and act like a cult, and they are a cult leader, and they can never be wrong, and never encourage you to go out there and actually learn something, work with other people, solidarity. All they do is just want you to not do anything but just sit in front of the camera, in front of the monitors, phones, listen to them all day. And that is it. I think that's the biggest difference between me and those grifters. I haven't seen it, but that's funny. So here's the thing, talking about organizing, I think this is my ending point about, before I finish this stream, I'm 30 minutes overtime. But here's the thing, I think that we are humans, so we're not perfect. There's no perfect human beings. Therefore, there's no perfect organization. Okay? Even the Communist Party of Vietnam is corrupted as fuck. We are arresting a bunch of corrupted members. So, imperfect is a thing that we have to admit. And here's the thing. The point is to get together, organize, to go out there and do something to help the movement. If you can. If you can. I'm not forcing you if you cannot. Okay? Just if you can, do it. And be aware that none of the organization is perfect. And also be aware that you as an individual, you should join if you do not like that organization. But if you see that they are doing something actually out there to help, maybe join them. Try to join that one project alone, and then to join that project to help. And then if you see anything that you disagree with, talk to people, to members in that organization. And if they just refuse to change, maybe just join them project by project, not become the whole full-time members. Because the point is still get out there to do something. Okay, and you definitely can, offer some change to have to do it. Just do a project by project and then get out if you can't. You think that it's not gonna work or something. Yes, and I thank you for give people warnings though, because like groups like CPUSA, organization like CPUSA or DSL or PSL, SRA, Food Not Bombs, yes, they're not perfect, and just look for some org you can join in your local area. And if you don't like them, maybe just check out what they've been doing lately in your area and join them just project by project to see if you can work with them or not, to see if you can learn something from them or not, to see if you can put your opinion to help the organization or not. Just the thing that you should not do definitely is to just listen to some people online that you never met and say like, oh, so that organization sucks, just never join them. Just look at things from a dialectical materialist stance. Nothing is perfect. There's always going to be a good thing and a bad thing in something. The whole point is that you must feel out the good thing and try to fix the bad things. And you only can do that if you actually work with those people. So I think that is a thing that we should not, spend our time dunking on a whole organization, dunking on the effort of a big group of people. Instead, we should actually join if you can and help them if you can. And if you see there's unsavable, just leave them. And also give people warning, a nice warning about that. Like, hey, I actually joined them and I see this problem. But anyway, you decide on your own. But just be aware that they have this problem. So like, give them people warning so people can be aware before they join, so they will not be like unprepared or naive about it. And again, another thing that I want to give you advice that like before joining an organization, you should have your own list of rules, like the final step. But like if they like step out of that range, and that is it. That is like, set your own shore that can break your own back. Break your own back. So like set some basic rules that you can bear with working in that. So for example, I will work with an organization, but my bar, set my own bars. My bar is that they are not a racist shithead. They are not a terrible selfish individualist, and that is my bars. And if I saw members in that organization saying some bullshit things, racist or homophobic or something, transphobic, I would just talk to them directly. If I can't, like, hey, you should not do that because it is bad for, the appearance of our, the reputation of our organization. And if they agree with us, that's a good thing. Yeah, good. Maybe that this organization is good. They can fix it. They can change. But if they just straight up refuse it, maybe that's the bar that you should leave and maybe find another one. So yeah, set some basic bars for yourself. And if they break that bars, it is a point where you should leave. So like, you should organize. You should join. And you should have your own bars to maintain, to maintain your own values, to make sure that at least you won't getting like de-radicalized by those shit. So for example, this is a thing that I really I love talking about it. The Fight Toxic Prison is an organization. BP is a part of it. They together join and protest and organize in real life to stop the states from building new private prisons. Fight Toxic Prison organization. Now here's the thing, they are extremely a very leftist organization, but sometimes they work with landlords. This is a tactical solidarity, a tactical front, unity, tactical unity. Because look at this from a very tactical perspective. Landlords, fuck all landlords. I hate them. But in the sense that they're working on the project where they are trying to fight to stop the prison being built in this piece of land. And of course, that landlord who owned that land also do not want private prison to be built there. So the Fight Toxic Prison will work with those landlords in that specific project. And when they finish, that tactical unity ends. I think that this is a very smart way to do it. Make use of all the help that you can, because right now your organization is still weak and it needs as much help as possible. And they know that they cannot ideologically aligned with landlords, so they just work on this project to end this prison and move on. They have their own bars, and they would never break that bars. They just work with these landlords in this project, move on. So definitely, I think that, yeah, that is it. Thank you so much for being here listening to me, and thank you so much. See you next time, and hope that election in Brazil, we have a great outcome. Bye everybody, see you next time. Hey, wait a minute. Wait, I missed a super chat nearly 15 minutes ago. I hate my stream element. Thank you, Amazing Bird Show. Amazing Bird Show, I love your name. Thank you so much for a super chat, and it says thank you for the info the government is done with helping or even acknowledging COVID here in the US. Thank you, Jason, for another super chat. If the left passed housing or right and made a massive increases in unionization, they would get more voters. I do not trust Eric Adams because he is in with Bloomberg. I do not know much about Eric Adams, but yes, just work on the housing issues. You're gonna have more voters, way more voters, because lots of voters cannot vote because they do not have an address. Okay? Thank you everybody. Thank you for super chat and the super stickers too. See you next time. Bye.